So welcome back to Man in the Shed. Now this time we are looking at injectors. Simple, very simple injector. Now I get not a lot of questions. I've had a few questions over the years of doing this of injectors. Which one's the best? There's no difference, and I'll prove that in a minute. So the fuel injectors, some people say some flow more than the others, blah blah blah. So I'm doing this and testing these to show you, prevent anyone going down a rabbit hole of I need to fit these injectors because they flow more fuel. No, they don't. So why don't they flow more fuel? Well, for example, this injector is 023 at the end. Off numerous cars, I will go into in a minute. So this injector might have somewhere in the world of the internet a bit of paper written down that this injector flows 120 cc's a minute, and then it might have that this injector 041 might flow 140 cc's a minute. No, this injector might state somewhere that it flows 120 cc's a minute. That's only because this part number is relevant to X amount of vehicle, and that vehicle will be fitted with this fuel metering head. It's the fuel metering head that sends 120 cc's a minute. These are just taps. They open and close. They are all pretty much got a 35-degree spray angle. Literally, you look at my other video, the injector assembly, the end of it, that's all the business end, is a spring in there. And the different ratings of springs are relevant to what pressure opens at. Most of the time it's 3.3 bar up to 4.1, I think, for some Fords. And there in between. So don't get drawn down a rabbit hole that this part number flows this fuel. For whatever reason you find something that an injector says, oh, that flows more fuel than that one, it's only because this injector is related to that metering head which flows it. Now it's called a metering head because it meters the air and fuel going in, and it's called a fuel distributor because it distributes X amount of fuel to the injectors. So we've gone through a box of all these injectors. Actually, I've got a box there of how many. I've got 2 more boxes up there. The injectors I use are the 023s on there at the moment. You know, every sort of 2 runs or 2 tests, if I'm having a bit of issues of balancing and something just a bit not right, they go through the ultrasonic cleaner and get cleaned out, and then they're back to fine again. Now these injectors are a throwaway item. Yes, you potentially can clean them because you can hold the end open with a bit of electrical wire, pull the nozzle open, pin it back, cable tie so the nozzle's open so that you can get air through it, put it in a ultrasonic cleaner and it will clean it through. But what you can't clean is the wear on the pin tool. Now the pin tool it wiggles around. If you've ever heard injectors sing, it's because the pin tools literally are just flinging around at the end, which is what creates the helps create the spray pan and atomizes the fuel when it comes out. That wears, so the spring can wear and the pin tool can wear. So if the pin tool wears, it's going to dribble because it's not sealing itself like a valve seat. And also if the spring's weak, it'll open earlier than it should do. So they're the 2 things: worn seats and a worn spring. Yes, they can get clogged up. They can be cleaned, but you might clean it so it flows good fuel, high up. But idle or mid-range, when it's only low fuel coming out and it's got poor spray pan, it's not going to mix properly. So that's all the injectors. So we've gone through these. I have got, how many injectors I've got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've tested 6 injectors, all different part numbers. This is the funny bit. So you'll see it in the videos when I test them, the part number. So we have got 7 injectors. We're testing 6. Here there is 7 injectors, all with different part numbers, but they all open at 3.3 bar and have a 30-degree spray pattern. So we've got 0437502 is the main injector number, and you've got 3 digit at the end. So we've got 023, 24, 26, 27, 45, 46 and 15. They're all VW and Audi injectors. 26 is a 5-cylinder Passat. They're all the same, but they've got different part numbers because that injector is going to go in that car. And we've also got one of the injectors. We've got a Merc injector 047. We don't like those. unless it's in a Mercedes. That's the same as an 010. 3.8 bar, same spray pattern. We've also got an 004 from a Porsche 911. That's the same as an 002. 3.5 bar opening and spray pattern. So yeah, we've got 6 injectors we're testing which relate to 11 part numbers. You know what I mean? So part numbers are very not important, but sometimes you need to take them with a pinch of salt, especially injectors. You know, ballpark, you're going to get the right one for the car, but don't go down a hole going, right, I need those injectors because that needs to be for that car because it flows that much fuel, and it doesn't. It's the meter head that flows it. Yes, certain injectors need to be on, like Fords and Porsches. They've got a longer body. Obviously 16 valve Golf's got the air shrouding on it. You've got a couple of differences. So yes, there should be a certain injector on a certain car, but they don't flow anymore. So I won't jabber on a minute. Well, I'll just say this. So the test we've used is a metering head I've recently balanced, and it's set, it's a 140 unit, so it's a 16 valve Golf, and it is set to flow 72 cc's in 30 seconds to 144 cc's a minute. That's what it's set at, all four, boom. So we'll run through these tests and I'll come back in a minute and then we'll chat more. Go. So as you can see, there's not a lot of difference, is there? Literally none. So I've got the results written down here. We've got 2, 3 injector, 4, 5, 4, 7, 15, 26 and 004. Now, remember our base is 72 cc's a minute. Now, you can plus or minus maybe 1 cc. Sorry, 72 cc's in 30 seconds. So you can plus or minus 1 cc off that, you know, with the tolerance we're working with, how we're measuring it, blah, blah, blah. So 72 is the base, and we have got from, so 2, 3 got 73, 45 got 72, 4, 7 got 70, Mercedes one that got the lowest, 15 got 73, 26 got 72, and 004 got 71. You know, so we're ranging from 70 to 73. So we've got a 3 cc's difference, you know, across all those injectors at the same metering head unit, which just goes to prove that it's the metering head that dictates what comes out the injectors, unless the injector's blocked, etc. So there you go. That is another quick man in the shed on fuel injectors. Like I say, there are part numbers for cars, but the part number, especially on the injectors, does not dictate the fuel flow. It's the metering head or fuel distributor which dictates what comes out the injector. And again, you've got clog filters, worn pintles and worn springs. You know, some of these in here are 30 years old. They still work. You put them through ultrasonic cleaner, the filter's clean out. They might not have a good spray pattern, but for testing purposes, it's sending the right amount of fuel out we need. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.